Chief Williams and Chief Edward were not just business partners, they were childhood friends, two men who rose from humble beginnings to become powerful billionaires. Both had tasted the sweetness of wealth and the bitterness of loss. Each had buried his wife, and the only thing left to them was their children. For Chief Edward Idris, it was his beloved son, Nelson, brilliant, respectful, and trained abroad. For Chief Williams, it was his two daughters, Rita and Sonia. The girls were beautiful, elegant, and had everything money could buy. But behind the glitter, they lacked one thing: humility. Spoiled and arrogant, they treated every worker in the mansion as if they were worthless. One hot afternoon, Sonia sat scrolling on her phone as a steaming plate of fish stew and rice was placed before her. She took a bite, frowned, and spat a fishbone onto the table. "What is this nonsense?" she screamed. "Chef, chef!" The frightened woman rushed in, hands trembling. "Please, Ma, it was a mistake. I don't want excuses." Sonia cut her off. "Pack your bags and leave this minute." The chef knelt, tears running down her cheeks. But Sonia banged the table and shouted again, until the poor woman walked out in shame. That evening, when Chief Williams returned hungry and tired, he called for the chef. Rita smirked. "Daddy." Sonia fired her. Williams thundered. "This is the 5th time. Do you think staff are your slaves? You don't cook, yet you drive everyone away." But his daughters rolled their eyes. To them, it was nothing. What they didn't know was that their father and Chief Edward had made a pact years ago. When Nelson returned from abroad, he would marry one of William's daughters, uniting their families and businesses forever. But Nelson wasn't naive. "Daddy," he told Edward, "I don't want to marry a proud woman. I'll disguise myself and live in their mansion. Only then will I know their true character." Edward hesitated, but Nelson was firm. And so, the next day, dressed in plain clothes, Nelson applied as a chef. His hands, trained by his late mother, cooked smoky jollof rice, grilled chicken, and crisp salad. When the sisters tasted it, they froze. "This is good," Sonia whispered, almost unwilling to admit it. That same day, another applicant arrived, a quiet young woman named Sophia. She came for the cleaner's job. Raised by her struggling mother Esther, Sophia had graduated from university but found no job for years. Humble yet determined, she accepted the work with gratitude, hoping to ease her mother's burden. From then on, Nelson, hiding under the name Bob, cooked in silence, while Sophia swept and scrubbed with diligence. The mansion glittered, but behind closed doors, the sisters' cruelty grew worse. Sonia rejected breakfast and mocked Nelson. Rita shouted at Sophia, accusing her of laziness. Yet in those moments, Nelson saw something no one else noticed: Sophia's dignity. When Sonia rejected his food one morning, Sophia stepped in quietly, cooking noodles with such grace that Sonia ate without complaint. Nelson felt respect rising in his heart. But the sisters grew harsher. One morning, Rita roared through the corridor, "Sophia, have you cleaned my room, or are you here to eat and sleep?" Tears filled Sophia's eyes, but she obeyed without argument. Later, in the garden, she sat alone, crying. Nelson approached gently. "Why are you crying? My mother sacrificed everything for me. I studied, graduated, yet here I am, scrubbing floors." Nelson's voice softened. "This job doesn't define you. You're hardworking and kind. Don't let them break your spirit." A bond quietly grew between them, respect and something more. But trouble struck. Sophia fell ill, weak with fever. Instead of compassion, Rita fired her instantly. "Pack your things and leave," she barked. Sophia staggered away, collapsing on the street until strangers rushed her to the hospital. When Nelson returned with medicine, he learned what happened. Rage consumed him. "You fired a sick girl. Do you even have a conscience?" he shouted at the sisters. "I resign. I can't work where kindness doesn't exist." Meanwhile, Sophia's mother Esther rushed to the hospital, her heart breaking at the sight of her daughter, pale on the bed. When she heard Sophia had been fired without pay, she stormed to the mansion to demand her wages. Rita sneered. "Old woman, we don't owe you anything. Leave now." But just then, Chief Williams stepped out. His eyes widened. "Esther." The past came crashing back. With trembling lips, Esther revealed the truth. "Sophia is your daughter." Williams staggered, gripping the wall for support. For 23 years, Esther had hidden the pregnancy, raising Sophia alone in shame and fear. Tears rolled down as Williams whispered, "Where is she?" Together they rushed to the hospital. When Sophia saw him, confusion filled her eyes. Esther held her hand. "This is your father, my father." Sophia gasped. Pain filled her voice. "Mom, do you know what I suffered in his house?" treated like a slave by his daughters. William's face hardened. I never knew. Forgive me, my child. From today, you will never lack again. But Sophia turned her face away. I can't go back. Not when Boff is gone. The truth soon exploded. At Chief Edward's mansion, both families gathered. Sonia and Rita dressed elegantly, expecting to impress Nelson. But when Edward called his son, the sisters leaped in shock. Bob, what are you doing here? Edward smiled. This is my son, Nelson. Silence fell. Nelson bowed. Yes, I disguised myself. I couldn't marry without knowing your true character. And now I know. I choose Sophia. The room shook with gasps. Sonia and Rita's faces drained of color. The man they mocked was the very Nelson they dreamed of marrying, and the cleaner they ridiculed was their sister, and his chosen bride. Chief William's voice thundered in his mansion that night. You see why pride destroys. You treated people like trash, and you lost the greatest blessing of your lives. Respect everyone, no matter their position, because you never know who they truly are. Sonia and Rita wept bitterly, but Sophia stood quietly, her humility shining brighter than gold. She had gained the one thing money could never bite: true love and honor. And so, Nelson and Sophia's story became a lesson for all. Because pride brings downfall, but humility opens doors no wealth or beauty ever can.